At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this transformative journey. You see, every day we dive into a powerful conversation about self-discovery, healing, and empowerment. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself is the first step to living a fulfilling life. You can expect insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories. Plus, we'll occasionally welcome special guests who will share their unique perspectives on self-love and personal growth. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's embark on this journey together. Because it's time to embrace the beautiful person that you are. So let's elevate our lives one episode at a time. Now let's get started. All right, my beautiful people, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I'm your host, Nyomi Banks, and this is a special Mindset Monday episode where we continue our July series, Preparing for Transformation. You know, last week, Dr. Will, he had shared some amazing things with anxiety and us getting us prepared for this. Well, I have a very special guest today that we want to kind of get deeply and just really. So let me say this, because we have been trying to get this beautiful young lady in for the whole month. She was one of the first ones to volunteer to share her voice in this journey. And one thing is, I'm deeply honored to just share this space with all of these women. But this one right here is because I see something, I see a likeness of me. And what I mean a likeness is, I see another beautiful brown woman as well as myself. And and when I say this, listeners, and I hope y'all hear me clear, it's uncommon to see a lot of women of color that are being honest about their implant surgery and their explant journey, and having the courage to share their stories with others. And so just knowing that this incredible woman is a warrior who I feel that story will inspire and empower you all. Miss Layci Aguirre, she is a breast implant illness survivor who has transformed her pain into purpose and her struggle into strength. You know, Layci's journey is a beautiful reminder that sometimes our greatest challenges become our greatest teachers, and the healing often asks us to become the woman we never knew we needed to be. Her story demonstrates the incredible power of trusting our bodies, advocating for ourselves, and choosing love over fear, even when the path forward seems uncertain. But before we bring Layci to the stage, let's take a quick break, all right? It's your girl, the goddess, Nyomi Banks, here on this Season of Self-Love podcast, and we'll be right back.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Hey, it's your girl, the goddess, Nyomi Banks, and make sure you tune in every Thursday night to Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast, where we talk about everything from love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more. By bridging the gap between them all, and we even talk about spiritual uplifting. You need to stop by. Me and Dr. Mike, as well as the BTG crew. We have some amazing guests that come through. You never know. Just make sure you tune in Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to axnyomi.com and tell them Nyomi sent you. All right, my beautiful people, well, welcome back. Now, as I sit here preparing for my own expert journey, you know, I am continually amazed by the courage and the resilience of the women who have walked this path before me. You know, each story that I hear adds another layer of strength to my own journey and reminds me that we are a part of a journey that is so much bigger than ourselves, a community of women choosing truth over comfort and healing over hiding. As I mentioned before, Layci's story is particularly powerful because it shows us that healing is not a destination, but a continuous journey of self-discovery, self-advocacy, and self-love. Her experience demonstrates that sometimes the most difficult chapters of our lives become the foundation for our most authentic living. Well, today we explore Layci's beginning story, the awakening that changed everything, the courage it took to choose herself over societal expectations, and the beautiful transformation that has emerged from her commitment to healing. Layci, beautiful, thank you for being here with us today. And I know it takes tremendous courage just to share your most vulnerable story. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm 2 weeks out, and so I am ready. I'm ready to join this amazing club.
I am excited for you. I 5 weeks out, and all I can say is, wow, what a difference.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, before we get into it, let's hold that for a moment. And I want to we do a nice grounding meditation before we get into the topic at hand. All right, my listeners, right here, you know how we do. If you could just get into a nice, comfortable position. All right. Place both hands gently on your heart and take 3 deep breaths, 3 deep, loving breaths. Now feel your heart beating steadily, reliably, keeping you alive and vibrant in this moment. Now send waves of gratitude to your body for everything that it has carried, everything that it has endured, and everything that it continues to do for you each and every day. Thank your body for its wisdom, for the messages it sends to you, for its incredible capacity to heal, to regenerate, and to transform. Now ask your body now with genuine curiosity, what do you need me to know today? What wisdom do you have for me? And I want you to listen with your whole being to whatever arises. Maybe a sense, a feeling, words, or just simply a knowing. Perhaps it's guidance about rest or movement or nourishment. Maybe it's encouragement about a decision that you're facing. Or maybe it's a simple reminder of how deeply loved and supported that you are in this moment. But whatever you receive, hold it with reverence and gratitude. Your body is your greatest ally, your wisest teacher, and your most faithful companion on this journey of life. So say to your body now, I trust you. I honor you. I choose to listen to your wisdom with love, respect, and deep appreciation. Now take one more deep breath in and carry this sacred commitment into your week. All right, my beautiful people, well, welcome back. Again, if you're new here to the Season of Self-Love podcast, it's something we do every day, Monday through Friday. It's just to help ground us before we get into the topic at hand. All right, Layci, so let's start with just getting to know who you are today. Tell us about yourself. What brings the most joy in your life right now?
My family.
Yeah.
I have 4 children, and my family is my first ministry, so definitely my family. I wouldn't be who I am today without my family. So that, and of course, the health journey, the discovery that I am on. But first and foremost, my children, my husband, and my family.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, if it's comfortable, just to go back, can you share about when you first got your implants? What season of your life, what were you in, and what was happening for you then to make you choose to get implants then?
This is a little bit vulnerable for me, but I'm just going to be honest because this is where I was at in life. So I was a senior in high school and I got pregnant with my son, who's now 26 years old. So I graduated high school, carried a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. Can't really get into all of that, but had him in February of 1999 and then went on, did some college. It wasn't working out for me. And I was really young and really silly. And so at that time, I got into the dancing industry. And that was pushed because of the way my body changed so drastically whenever I had my son. I thought, well, if I just go and, everyone's like, why don't you just get some implants? It'll fix it and you'll make more money. And literally I said, oh yeah, that's smart. And at that time, it didn't cost, I don't think, as much as it did now, but I found a way, I made it happen. And I didn't even think at that point in my life, I was so young and so almost ignorant. I didn't even think about the health implications. I just thought I'm going to look better, make more money. I'm not going to have, because I was literally went from maybe like a small B to a double D with my son. And when I was, after I breastfed and did everything else, it was like I felt like I had nothing. I know better now. I did have something, but I kind of just, that's where I was at. I wanted to be shaped like society thought was acceptable. And I also had the intentions of making more money at that point in my life. I just thought, oh, this is easy. This is going to be great. And I definitely didn't think about the health implications down the road. So that's why I got them originally. Didn't think twice about what was the ingredients or anything like that. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what? First of all, thank you for sharing that. But that's what most of us women do, especially because we are insecure about our bodies. For me, I used to always think, I used to be in the itty bitty titty committee is what I used to say when I was in high school, and even part of college. And I as well got pregnant when I was 19 years old. And so that kind of changed the form of my body, or what I thought a woman's body is supposed to look like, fullness. So once, you lose all that baby weight, then everything goes, you everything else snapped back. But then those boobs that came after that baby was like, wow. But then as time goes, they do go away. I didn't get mine until after my second baby at 31 years old. I was 31 years old when I got the implants. And I'm a little older than you. So I knew about the consequences were with the silicone, and they were banned. And then they brought in the saline. So when I was told that the saline was safe, I said, okay, that's great. I can go ahead and get those, as well. And I did it for not only for my insecurities, but also for business. I was a model back then. I wasn't yet in the adult industry. I was a model then. And being a model, especially, doing swimsuit, lingerie, all of those things, you need some breasts that's going to hold that up and look good in pictures and stuff like that. And did it help me? Oh my God, yes, it did. That's something that I do thank my breasts for. And so when you said that about being, young and stupid, that's one thing I want to take away from us is the shame. I want us to take away the shame in it, because that is where we was at that time. That was a season that we were in at that moment. And so when I think about even going through this whole month, and even deciding to do it a few months ago, like really putting the money down, putting my, down, I said, you know what? I don't regret anything. Mm-hmm. And why I don't regret anything, because this is what brought me to this platform today. Because if I wouldn't get the implants, I wouldn't have had the courage to get into the adult industry. I wouldn't have begun to create a big name. I wouldn't have had these platforms to be able to speak about self-love, about sex, relationship, and I wouldn't be here speaking with you women, and we being loud and proud about choosing our bodies. Even though then we chose our bodies for something else. But I believe if we really would have known, what we was putting in our bodies, we would be like, oh no, hell no. Sorry. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I don't want to take that away from you, but I do want to just really speak into my sisters and say, look, y'all, there ain't no shame in none of this that we have done, because we were doing something that we thought that was best for us at that time, especially being teen mothers. You know what I'm saying? And you're trying to make money to survive, to just survive. And you were just doing what you knew that was around you, period. There is no shame in any of that. The good thing is that fast forward now, 26 plus years later, you're like, okay, hold on. Let me go back. Let me go ahead and take these out. But also, and this is what, because I hear, and it's so funny, and I'm sorry, I know this is supposed to be about you, but this is going to be about us today. This is going to be about all of us today. Because when I be in the groups, and I love that the women share their stories, but I want to take, and it's so hard when I say I want to take the anger away, because the anger is there, but I want to take the hate away, because that anger could turn into hate, that a lot of the women that I see in there. And it's like, let's do something powerful with that anger. Let's do something more beneficial that's truly going to help push the needle even more. You understand what I'm saying? Because we have to think about where we were when we made that decision to get those implants. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, just let's be loud about what they are and what they do, but let's not live in shame of it, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can definitely say I've done work on myself throughout all of this. Shame off of the women, shame off of me, guilt off of me, guilt off of all women who do this, because society pushes a norm for us, and we think we have to conform, or we think we have to meet those standards. And in all reality, there's no, the amount of love that you have for yourself. I've taught my daughters a great lesson throughout this. Each one of them, I have a son that's 26 and I have 3 girls. They range 19, 14, and 10. And I had those implants. I think I got those implants when my son was 2 or 3. So I had those implants for 23 years. And for all of those years, and granted, I was adopted. I started out with rejection, Nyomi. Okay. I'm biracial. And 81, let me just give you this. Back in 81, biracial children, me and my sister, didn't have the same biological parents, but we were biracial. So we were considered hard to place back in 81 for adoption. But I have a loving family. They had 3 boys. They adopted my sister and I. And so that family was Caucasian. And I never understood, growing up, there was different things. I dealt with a lot of rejection. So whenever I decided, and I know I'm kind of going everywhere, but whenever I decided I was going to get these implants out, I literally thought to myself, well, what if I go back? My husband was my biggest thing. I said, they're not going to be like this. Cause I think I was a triple D by the time it was all said and done. Gained a little bit of weight. And he was like, I don't care. Cause that was that little piece of rejection coming back. But I've done a lot of work on myself. I say all that to say this. I've done a lot of work on myself. I've gone through counseling. I've done different things to deal with that shame and that guilt. And I think that God brought this about at the right time, because there's never really a good time to do it, but the nudging and it was almost like it was a new chapter in my life. So my daughters, all 3 of my daughters, have seen what I went through when I got the explant, which was not bad. It wasn't a bad recovery, but it can be a little painful. You're getting something cut out of your chest that's not supposed to be in there. And I told them, I said, let this just be a really good reminder to you that you are wonderfully made. You are perfect just the way that you are. And you do not have to get anything put into your body that is not meant to be there, not the way you were originally made, to be accepted by society, to be accepted by anybody in your life. They've got to love you for you. So it was a big lesson for my daughters to see me go through it, but it was a blessing, And it wasn't that it was a bad recovery, but it was a really big teaching moment to just love you for you, not for what others want to see in you.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you for even saying that. I myself have 3 daughters. I have 3 daughters. They're 10 years apart. And I mirror you in saying that this is a beautiful lesson for them. To knowing that to love yourself more than anything, but love just what God has made you and given to you. I think even with your unique voice of your story in speaking and telling, is that you do come from a sense of abandonment, which kind of, go for them. So just you moving forward, even with your healing, could touch so many amazing people that has just that same thing that you have, and that wanted to be validated or wanted to be approved enough to be able to be loved in their life. The one thing that I do love is that most of the women that I talk to, that their husbands have been right there by their sides. I read in the groups a lot that a lot of the women don't have, either they're single or they don't have a supportive husband with that. And I can say my husband has been very supportive, like he was ready to do it a year ago. And it's good to have that, that you're able to do that. But I'm so glad that it's like I can hear him say, baby, you good just the way you are. It doesn't matter. That's not what I fell in love with you for. I did not fall in love with you for those. And it's so funny, but we as women, even I'm be 53 this year, you know what I'm saying? You still think about that. You still think about, how we going to feel sexually? How are we going to feel, sensual? Are we still going to be sexy or even be pleasing to, our husband eyes? That's one thing that I want to talk about too, going forward. Now that I know that you're married, how do you feel sensual wise? Or do you still feel like that woman, with your femininity? How is that for you now that you've removed the implants?
I think it's even better than it was previously, because I think honestly, previously, the farther along I got, the longer I had them. If I'm just being honest and I can be real and raw, my libido was non-existent. My hormones were like everywhere. My sex drive was horrible. And now that I have them out, and now that I'm actually back to my natural state, I tell that my libido levels are increasing. I just feel better. So that makes the sexuality and the side of it that I've been missing for so many years, my poor husband, it's just that much better. I honestly feel sexier than I have in probably 15 to 20 years.
Wow.
And I don't know how to explain that,
Yeah.
but I feel good. And I know my husband loves that as well. So this right here for me did not take away any of my feeling sexy in myself. If anything, it made me feel more sexy. Like I'm genuinely me. Yeah. And I love that. So it has improved the way that I feel versus the opposite. I unfortunately, I have heard some women say opposite. For me, I am in love with my body. I am in love. I did get an explant with a I'm probably not going to say that right. Mastopexy with a lift. I didn't want to do it separate. And I knew I had a really big chest because I had gained a little bit of weight through all of this. But I will say, I'm very happy that I got the lift. My scarring is minimal. And I genuinely feel like the best version of me that I have felt in, I don't know how long. When you get them removed, I can hug my children. My little 10-year-old can hug me, and you can just, you can feel them on the chest. It's amazing. I remember I got my drains out probably 5 or 6 days after I had my explant, and it was just my husband and I. And I remember he looked at me, he said, he told me, he said, I didn't know those drains were that long. They served their purpose. They were really good, right? They did what they were. So afterwards I said, yeah, they were. I started laughing because they say little things, that you laugh like, yeah, we're really enduring things, but it's all in the healing process. So we go to eat afterwards. And I said, you know what? He said, what? I said, I'm having a grandbaby in December. I'm like, I'm going to be able to hold that grandbaby to my chest, and they're going to feel my heartbeat. Like they're going to feel me. I'm going to feel them. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about when I hug my church family, when I hug my kids, my mother.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful, Layci.
Something that's been, I feel like, not taken from me because I made those choices, but something that's been blocked in my life. And it opened up more than just I don't even know how to explain it. Not healing, because I'm healing. It just opened up connection.
Yes.
No, we're people of connection, not isolation. And
Yeah.
that right there blocks this whole upper half of your body and your heart and your ability to have the skin to skin and to feel your family. And I remember just crying after I got my drains out and we were eating. And he's like, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah. For the first time in 20 something years, I'm going to be able to feel my family, and they're going to be able to feel me and those around me and those that I love. And it's the genuine me." And there's definitely no shame in any of it and no guilt. It's just all happy tears, because never is a good time to do it with work and, life, but it is so worth it on every level. It's worth it. Yeah. So.
Well, beautiful, because I got some tissue over here myself. But that I didn't think about that until I had Shelly on last week. I believe that was last week, when she said when she was able to feel her son's heartbeat or her daughter's heartbeat when she was chest to chest now. And I didn't think about that. And then I go back and talk about one episode that I always talk about taking off the mask. And taking off that mask that you carry, that you have to be something for someone or somebody or something. And I have been very honest about, I had taken my mask off, but I was still holding my mask in my hand. You know what I mean? Just to put, at convenience. But also in that convenience, as I was holding my mask, I still had on my costume. And my costume was my implants.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, how can I talk about self-love if I'm still wearing this costume? Yes, I've taken my mask off and still hold it in my hand. But when can I truly be whole and be myself without my you understand what I'm saying? And so I know that this was the right time to do this, because as I told my husband, if I would have did this 5 years ago, I don't even know if I would have had the mental or the emotional capacity to even be able to go through this and be so sure of myself. You understand what I'm saying? Just so sure of myself. And even hearing you speak right now, it's like, yeah, this was the right time to do it. It truly was the right time to do it. And the gift is that I'm assuming this is your first grandbaby, that you able to hold that very first grandbaby, and it is heart to heart with that grandbaby. Oh, and I'm a yaya. I'm a yaya. So I know what that will feel like. So I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Yeah.
I have been to, if you don't mind, I'll tell you a little bit about where something intuitively, I guess, about 5 years ago said, you got to get those out. I remember going to my OBGYN and I asked them, this is probably 7 years ago. I asked her, I said, well, what about these implants? You're supposed to get them replaced, they said, every 10 to 15 years. What about these implants? I'm sorry. I have my tears still coming. If I'm running, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So I said, what about these implants? And she said, if they're not bothering you, don't worry about it. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm good. The doctor said, if they're not bothering me, don't worry about it. So I just kept going. And then about 5 years ago, I kept telling my husband, I got to get these out. And he's like, we'll do it. We'll get them out. I know you want to get them out. We'll get them out. And I'm like, yeah, no, as the time went on, I said, I really got to get these out. Something's just amiss, and it wasn't that I was, at that point, it wasn't that I had a lot of health issues. I just knew in my mind something wasn't right. Something was about to fire off. So 2023, fast forward to 2023, my 19-year-old graduated a year early and we had her graduation party. And the day after her graduation party, everything went down south. And I started to have, I don't even know how to explain it. I started to have pain in the back of my calves and chronic fatigue. And I thought, I can't even make it to my kitchen. Like, what is going on? Something is dire wrong. And I thought, At that point, I didn't know because my legs hurt so bad. I was tired by the time I got to the kitchen. I had pain from on this left side of my body, from the back of my neck down my arm. My arm was in so much pain, it was tingling and going numb. These are just a few of the symptoms that started to really, really hit me.
All right, Layci, you know what? That was very beautiful and powerful that you just gave us. So let me ask you, what symptoms or what was it that was changing your experience during that time? Now, I know you said that the fatigue, I got that in the legs, you know, all of that pain. But how was your body trying to communicate to you more? What was you hearing your body telling you?
So instinctively, my body was just saying, get them out. That's what I kept hearing, get them out. But aside from the pain that I was getting in my legs, all of a sudden, I woke up one night and I had this shooting pain from the back of my neck down my left arm. Couldn't lift my left arm. There was tingling. There was burning sensations. I was getting weakness in my left arm. And I thought to myself, oh, this is bad. This is something. Literally at first I wasn't thinking, oh, this is a symptom of BII. Like this is something that this is contributing to this. That went on for a while. I went to all kinds of pain management doctors. I had electric shocks. I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would have electric shocks behind my eyes, in the back of my chest, in my thighs. And I remember telling my husband, oh my gosh, rub my back. Like I'm having a heart attack. This is horrible. And it was electric shocks. I went for a little while where my blood pressure was shooting up and coming back down. There was a season where I couldn't take a little bit of a sip of something that had refined sugar and my blood pressure would shoot through the roof. And I just thought, what is this? You know, I even went back to my counselor and said, I really want to see my kids grow up. What is going on? You know, and she's like, don't believe that lie. You're going to see your kids grow up. And I did not attribute anything to BII. So a little bit further down, I started seeing a naturopath further down the road. And I thought, because I had gotten an MRI on my brain, thinking maybe there was something neurological that was going on. That came back clear. I had COVID a few times. So I did do a spike protein detox, which I'm not sure how much that helped, but I know that it got rid of some of that spike protein through blood tests. And then I started seeing this naturopath. And I said, these are the symptoms I'm having. Let me tell you one other symptom I was having. I started having muscle fasciculations from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. And they would fire off all throughout my body. And I thought to myself, what is going on with my nervous system? Okay. So the naturopath, he gave me some different supplements and things that would bring down inflammation. And I went as far as I had 2 rounds of stem cell therapy. And I will say the autoimmune response that helped, but it didn't take it all away. I was still having chronic fatigue, brain fog, the memory loss. And I am a manager at my position with a team of 9. But the memory loss, if someone would say something, I'd say, I'm sorry, wait, hold on. What'd you just say? Because I couldn't recall it. There was a disconnect in all of that. So I say all that to say this. When I got these out 5 weeks ago, aside from that initial recovery of the 2 to 3 weeks where you're tired, you know, and you want to sleep a lot, as soon as I got up and I got moving around and things start going, I said, man, my chronic fatigue is lifted. My muscle fasciculations have slowed down. Like my brain fog is not there. This is really crazy. And one other thing, I am a computer coordinator at my church. And so I run computer with the lyrics and the worship and everything like that. And I remember my director, she used to have to say, scroll up, you know, and it wasn't connecting and click here. And the other day I was running computer at my daughter's kids camp and they went into something else and my brain just automatically caught it. And I jumped up and she said, oh, and she said, oh, that was quick. And I was like, yeah, it's just going to get that much better because I feel so much better after this explant. Like my connection in my brain has improved and that memory, that function has improved. So that's just a few things that I have seen since my explant. And I know it's going to get that much better. It's been such a blessing.
Just hearing your story, I have tears in my eyes because I am so excited. And why I'm so excited, because everything that you said that you went through, those were the things that I was going through. It was times that I was so disabled, I could not get out of bed for days.
Yes.
For days. And it was like, what the hell is happening? It's like crazy.
Yeah.
So when you said about the shooting pains in the back of your head and it went through your body to your left, I really felt that it was something wrong with me. I thought either I had MS, I was just going through every scenario possible that it could be. And
Yes, me too.
yeah, and I remember going, and I had to thank, even though he was a idiot, my neurologist, I have to thank him, because him giving me the wrong testing, for one, giving me the wrong testing and not truly paying attention to everything that I said, and also with my primary doctor had put in the paperwork, he wasn't listening. He just wanted to give me medication for my migraines. And he was just thinking about my migraines. I'm telling him about shooting pains through my body, the numbness on my, like, I'm thinking I'm having a stroke. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's so is so disabling. And when I tell them, I can actually understand how some people, the ones that are paralyzed from the neck down, because your brain is steady moving and going and you can't move sometimes.
Yes. I literally, I remember telling because I have a primary care physician, but they're not tied to insurance. So they don't do things the normal way. And I just remember saying, like, because they at first were going to send me to an EMG, or send me for an EMG, which is the neurologist that does the muscle testing. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, I mean, at that point, God was like, no, that's not it. But I will say, I was telling my naturopath and even my aunt, I'm like, am I stroking out? There's bad words, like there's cancer and ALS and there's MS, there's all these things. And I thought to myself, that's it. Like, I'm going down, because at 5:00 I work from home, but at 5:00 I was in the bed. And my poor husband and my poor kids were so scared because I couldn't function. I couldn't get up and go to the kitchen. And I thought, I'm in so much pain and I'm so tired. I was even having shortness of breath.
Yes.
That's gone away, Naomi. That has gone away. It is, you think you're going crazy. And for those that are around you, you look normal on the outside, right? But on the inside, you feel like you're dying. And you feel like you're a prisoner inside of your own body. And that's how I felt. And I have a picture where the dark circle, I had my eyes underneath here looked so sunken in and so dark. I remember taking a picture in Houston. I had some training before I went out on PTO for my surgery. And the darkness under my eyes was like they were sunk in and so dark. And literally the day of my explant, they lightened up and they have gotten so much better. I remember my mom going, gosh, you have dark circles under your eyes. I mean, these bags were sucking the life out of me. I feel like a new person.
Yeah.
So I am so excited for you to have this done and get through those initial recovery weeks and see how much healing is going to come to you. I feel like it's a new chapter. Prophetically, for me, I feel like it's a new chapter in my life. This is something that God is doing to propel me forward. I've always had a calling to women and to young girls because of the situation of me growing up. So that's where God's put it, on my heart. But I feel like it's more not just a physical healing for me. This is something spiritual, because the dark side that it held me to, why I got them in the first place, it's gone. There is no more shame. There is no more guilt. And I did it for that reason and that reason only. So this is a new chapter. This is a new me. And it feels wonderful. I just feel like a new woman. So I'm praying for you.
Yes. Thank you. First of all, thank you for the prayer. Thank you for just sharing it, because this has truly have been a testimony, but also it's been divinely aligned. It truly has. It's something that I shared with my listeners a lot. I've always wanted to know, my prayer was always, how can I be a service to women? My fan base is mostly men. And I've always wanted to know, how can I be a service to women that I'm not intimidating, that they don't look at, my past career and, and they can really I can really resonate with them, where they can look at me as a woman to woman and nothing else but that. And I just remember probably a month ago, I came home from vacation, and I was ready to, work. I had some, some shows to do and some other things to do, fashion shows, everything to do. And my body shut down on me, like literally shut down totally on me. And I'm very spiritual, and I understand my connection with God. I'm at my altar every morning praying and meditating. So I'm so very much aware of when I am being set down because I've missed something. I've missed the message. I've missed something that he told me to do. And sometimes I could be disobedient. So he's like, no, you need to do this because you're doing a little bit too much. I understand you're trying to do stuff to move things out the way because you're preparing for something, but let me realign that for you right now. And when I say I could not talk, my voice is what, this is my place.
Yes.
I'm talking. I was already having brain fog. This was really horrible, brain fog. But then I couldn't walk. My legs were swollen so bad that I couldn't even walk to the computer. Now, this is how I set my stuff. I got my office downstairs. I have an office in my bedroom. And then my husband have an office outside of my bedroom. It's like, okay, no, because you will find a computer to work on. Shut me all the way down, but I had no choice to be still. And so I remember one particular morning, I got out of bed, I crawled my little self over to my altar, and it was a blessing because my grandbaby is here. And so my meditation room, what I call the Golden Rose room, that is where my grandbaby is sleeping at now, because my daughter was like, no, we ain't sharing rooms now. She got to be in her own room. So I was like, okay, so I was able to put my altar in my room. And I just went and I crawled over to my altar. And I was like, what am I supposed to? So I sat and I prayed, and, I thought, and then all of a sudden it was like, you need to use your explant journey. That needs to be your July series. And you need to ask Laura if she can come on the show, and ask if any other women could come on the show. And I was like, no women are going to want to share. And this is like a battle and I was like, I got you. I hear everything you said. And I was a week out of July. I already had my whole July series going. I had a few guests that so I was just like, are you kidding me?
Like, nope, I'm serious.
I'm serious. And when I really sit and I think about it, it's so funny. I don't know if you do this. It's like you see the picture of your life, and every choice that you made, that it brought you to this point now, that it was meant to be, even though we don't understand it, but it was meant to happen. It was meant to happen. And I laugh all the time because anybody on the outside of me, whatever, they were like, girl, you tripping. No, I understand. I understand where my connection with God has always been. In my car, praying on my way to set, praying on my way to a party that I had to host. I prayed in my car all the time, and I had to have that connection with God in that sense, because, and I'm sorry, but the church wouldn't allow me to be there and be able to praise God in that sense. You understand what I'm saying? Because how can you do that and you be on, doing this and that? And I was like, okay, I'm not about to let them shun me from God. I know where I can speak with God at.
Yes.
No, and that would help me. And even after I retired from the industry, and I remember even going through that whole healing and that transformation, creating my prayer closet. And in that, I had my forgiveness letter and all of those things. And this was almost 13 years ago. And at that time, it was a miracle, because I was pregnant with my last baby. And it was told to me that I couldn't have any children. So my second baby, I actually had to have help to have her. But I was told that I was no longer will be able to have another child. And here I go. Here I'm pregnant. I'm thinking I'm about to really do some things in the industry. And God was like, okay, y'all keep on planning right there. I got something for you.
Yes.
40 years old, pregnant, at the top of my career.
Hey.
Set me down, bed resty, whole entire time. Layci, when I tell you, I could not walk, I could not do anything. Like, I want you to sit in it. Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
I absolutely love that. You say you were, praying a lot. I got to a point in my journey before I, absolutely, when I was going through all of my BII symptoms, I found myself with my Bible on my kitchen floor on my knees. And I was like, God, I'll do anything. Just heal me. Like, take that, like, heal me, show me what I need to do for healing. Cause I believe that there's, God is the ultimate physician. That's my belief.
Yes.
But there's also things on this earth where we play a part as well in that healing journey. So I was like, what do I have to do? I've been 2 years now without having a sip of alcohol, which has been amazing too. And I think that even that in and of itself has helped through my explant recovery process with the inflammation being down in my body. But I was at a dire point, like praying, thinking, I have never experienced anything like this before in my life. And it was as the later years with these implants being in, but God directed my steps, and here we are. In our story is our testimony. So when you say no shame, no guilt, I absolutely agree with you, because our story and our testimony is what's going to set somebody else free. And it's not for us to hold on to, because society can say what they want. Family members can say what they want. But this is our story. This is our testimony. And there's other women that need it. So we go through what we go through for a purpose. It's about the perspective of getting women to understand the perspective of it didn't happen to them. It actually happened for them. It's a purpose. They have a purpose and a calling, on their life. And their story and testimony are for someone else to be set free as well. So it's so much bigger than just ourselves.
Yes, it is.
I thank you so much for doing this and bringing your platform to be able to talk with each other, with women who are going through the same thing, that feel like they're alone. Because while I didn't feel like I was alone because of the groups, right, that we're in, and you having this, and I did have my husband that was supportive. I'm sure there's some women that feel like they are completely alone, and they need to hear these stories and be involved and know they're not, so that they can courageous. It's a brave thing to do. It's a courageous thing to do. It's not, it's not for the weak. It's knowing you're doing this for a purpose and you're doing it for your health. It's just one step in the healing process, but it's one of the best steps I've taken. So yeah,
it is. And you know what? Again, thank you. Thank you so much for just sharing, for having the courage. And let me say this, being obedient. Obedient. You know what I'm saying? Because we allow our pride. We allow that pride to get in the way and everything. And it's like, no, this is what I created you for, your strength. Let me say this to you. You were born with strength. You understand what I'm saying? So everything that is happening in your life now moving forward is going to be so amazing. You are going to write a book. You are going to write a book.
You're the second person that has said that to me. You just gave me chills. You're the second person said that to me in the past probably 3 years. And the first time I foo-fooed it off, but you just gave me confirmation. So thank you for being obedient and boldly stating that, because that means a lot to me.
Yeah. And let me say this, and why I say this is because this is what was told to me the other day. You know how we sit, and I know you thought about writing your story. You're just like, where will I start at? My story is not good enough to be writing. How do if there is no successful ending before I can write it? Because I went through that same thing. This is it right now. When you took out those explants and you became whole again, this is where it is, where you became whole again. This is your spiritual connecting. Those two, I call them 10%, 10, that's 20%. You were 80% there. You went through it all. Now you remove that 10. Now you fully whole with the wisdom, with the spirituality, with the obedience. You understand what I'm saying? With the love. Now you can write that book.
Thank you for that. Thank you. This has been so good. So good. So thank you for doing this, and thank you for having me on here. Because if I can help just one person, he says, would you just do it for the one?
Yes.
If I can person. You are doing wonderful things. So thank you for your obedience. Thank you for speaking boldly into my life. I receive it. And just thank you for what you do. I am looking forward to hearing everyone else's story and listening to the podcast that you've done so far. And I appreciate you very, very, very much. I know we just met, but I appreciate all that you're doing. And I am praying for a smooth recovery to guide. You're going to Dr. Sood?
Yes.
Okay, to guide Dr. Sood's hands. I hear he is wonderful. And that your recovery is quicker than you think, that it's just like, wow. And you're back up and on your feet and running.
Thank you. But you know what? I want to give you an invite to, and this is the first time I'm going to say this to my listeners. I now have a name for my new podcast. It won't drop until January. So I will start recording the end of October of it. And I would love for you to come on, because I would love to hear where your story's at then, and just, I would love to have you on there. The name of the podcast is Body, Choice, and Voice. It's healing from the inside out. That is the name of it. Yes. And so it's not only going to be a podcast, it's a movement. Yes.
I would be honored to be a part of it if you would have me.
Yes. And I'm excited. I'm truly excited. I'm excited for the new connections that I've made. I've made another group of sisters, a sisterhood with yourself. I'm just going to claim it. Yes. I met another beautiful young lady, Miss Shelly Jean. She is just so loud and proud, and I love her spirit. It's just so many different of the women. Aloma, Laura is our patient advocate. I've known of Laura for quite some time. For years, I saw her on the Oprah Winfrey Show. I remember, we both from Chicago, so I seen it all. But just to have it full circle, come back around, and this is the woman who what I tell you, Layci, this ain't nothing but God. Nothing but God. Really. And it was like, wow. Like, oh, and I'm like, okay, I got you. All right, let me move out the way. Let me sit over here and just watch. And that is all that I am doing now. And just being able to just really see your beautiful faces and how they're glowing. How, shine, just to hear the stories. And a lot of the stories mirror mine. We mirror the same of some of the things, but some women have had some very horrible times. And I think I've been very blessed that I haven't been that. I might be crying about the being disabling and stuff, but some women have always been on their deathbeds. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, this is where we need to come together and really be loud.
Absolutely.
Really be loud and really be there for one another. As much as we can. The good thing is that we do have husbands that are very supportive of us, but then we have other sisters that don't have that, that some are by themselves. And in one of the stories, Miss Aloma, she shared that she wasn't with anybody. And actually she said that she had to do a GoFundMe, and she had to ask her friends to help her fund this. So it's more than just us just talking on a podcast. No, I want to do where is a foundation that we truly are helping women that don't have that don't have the funding of the money to be able to do this, because insurance is not paying for this. This is coming out of pocket.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's not, and I've heard of women that are completely by themselves, single moms, trying to have it done with toddlers. And I honestly, my heart does go out to them. I do think that it is more than just, the podcast, truly assisting those who can't do this or don't know how they're going to do this, because I can't imagine being a single mom with 2 or 3 children that I like, there's no way I could do it and be successful, because you can't, during recovery, you need specific help. And so, and even the finances is hard, there's never really a right time, and it's never really that you want to spend it. But if we can find a way to help these women who are struggling and need to get this done, I think that's going to be something that is amazing. So yeah. Thank you for having this. Thank you for just even inviting me to this. It's been so good for my heart. I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. This was definitely worth the wait. This really was. It was just, you know how you just feel like everything was happening. I said, no, I need to get Layci in here. Like, I really need to get her in here. And I'm so glad you was like, no, I want to do it now. I'm not waiting till October.
I felt so bad that first go around because we had all that flooding in Texas, and I'm like, here I am in the car, I want to do this. But I'm glad that you invited me back, and were patient with me. Thank you for being gracious with me and allowing me to share my story on your platform. So I say, here is to a strong sisterhood and more to come. So
beautiful, beautiful. All right, my beautiful people. Again, I want to just thank you and everyone else who has joined me on this month's series. I'm 2 weeks out. I am 2 weeks out, and I'm truly excited for this journey. Y'all know I said that I'm at 100. I don't know if they gonna like me at 100, but I don't give a. But I remember that girl at 100. But I believe I know that it's going to be such an amazing journey, such an amazing connection with all of us women that are a part of this journey. I think it's just moving the needle, pushing it really forward here, and just speaking our voices. If you can tell any woman right now who are on the fence with explant or even thinking about getting implants, what would that be?
I would say love yourself, love the season that you're in, love what God has given you. If you're on the fence about getting an explant, I would say go for it. You are courageous, you are beautiful, you are brave, and you can do this. It's not, the end all be all, but the healing that comes from it is something like I have not experienced in 23 years since I had them put in. If you're considering getting implants, I would say read the black box label, get all of the warnings, give yourself all of the knowledge that you need to make an informed decision, because getting those implants in is something your body is going to fight for years to come once you do get them in. But if you're on the fence about an explant, I say jump, go for it, because it is the best thing I have done for my health on my health journey in the past 4 to 5 years. And I'm here for you. So if you want to do it, I am here for you. Reach out to me. I'm on the Facebook support pages for a lot of the BII groups, and do it. You won't regret it. You won't.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I have one more last question for you. This episode is all about reclaiming your truth. It's reclaiming my truth. What is your truth today?
So I struggle with my truth. And I just say that because of my faith. So I'll revert back to my faith, because that's something that I feel like I have to be obedient with. What is God's truth is, does what you're believing, does what you're thinking align with what God says, with what his word says? If it doesn't, it's not truth. He made us beautifully. He made us perfect, and the way that he wanted to make us. And so my truth is God's truth. And if it doesn't align with what his word says, then it's not good. And if it's not good, he's not finished yet. So your story is not finished yet. Keep pushing and just keep looking up. He'll guide your steps. That's
beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for that, Layci. And my beautiful souls, I hope that Layci's story, that it's reminding you of the incredible power, wisdom, and resilience that lives within you. Her journey shows us that sometimes the most challenging experience become our greatest teachers. And just choosing ourselves, our health, our truth, and our authentic expression is always an act of love. So whether you're considering explant surgery or facing a major health decision, or just simply learning to trust your body wisdom more deeply, I want you to remember that you have the access to profound inner guidance that will never steer you wrong. Your body is constantly communicating with you. Your intuition is always available to guide you toward our highest good, and your courage, the beautiful, fierce courage that Layci has demonstrated so powerful, is always within the reach when you need it the most. Again, thank you, all my amazing people, for just allowing me to just share this journey with you, and you just being in here with the comments and everything like that. That is so amazing. So I guess we got one more show that has already been recorded on Wednesday. And I will see y'all in October. Have an amazing, amazing day. Have a good one, y'all.
Thank you, Naomi.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovering and empowerment here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. Remember, embracing self-love is a continuous journey, and we're so glad to have you with us. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And don't forget to join our community on Facebook at Season of Self-Love. Connect with like-minded individuals who are also on their self-love journey. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to explore, we love to hear from you. Email us at seasonofselflove@gmail.com and let your voice be heard. So until next time, take a moment for yourself today and remember, you are worthy of love, joy, and all the beautiful things that life has to offer.